That would be
Hopefully.
good.
All right.
Good.
It would be good. And we're live.
Hello.
Suppy, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. What's going on with you, man?
I'm doing well. Everybody that's watching right now, welcome to Babe Talk. It is Thursday, February 18th, 2016. I've never announced the date before, and that went far too well than I ever imagined that it would go. Because
Hey,
I
man,
figured that I would just say
first time for everything.
First time for everything. Let's start off this episode well. We have Mike from Sunnydale. What's up?
What up?
I'm doing well. I'm Ollie. I don't have anyone here tonight, but you know what? I've always been alone, so maybe this is good for me.
Got it. Those who loan together, something that rhymes with loan together.
I was gonna say stay together, but that means that they're not lonely anymore.
That negates alone.
That negates alone. Sad Boys 2016. What's up? So we start off the episode all the time by asking our guests how their day was, and you don't have to confine it to a day. You can tell me however long your past year has been, or however long.
Things are good. That's all I can say.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I can elaborate, I guess. You know, I made a dumb mistake. I got tricked by the internet earlier this week to where I did the stupid set your phone's date back to 19.
Oh no! Yeah. Did you really?
And we were partying, and
okay.
And so I was sitting there and I was playing on my phone. I was like, oh man, I love old pixelated looking shit, and I would love for my phone to look like this. I would love that it's an Apple Easter egg and I don't have to jailbreak it because I don't want to brick my phone, right? You know, that's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do it and I follow the instructions very carefully, and then I restart my phone and it just keeps restarting.
Oh, that sucks so much.
It doesn't stop until the battery dies.
Now, when did you do this?
Monday.
Okay, all right. Because I was gonna say that information's been out for a while that it was a hoax, but Monday was the day that it actually had gone out, and then Tuesday everyone was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, no. So, I was very disappointed. And that started off like this trail of like shitty events, but all of those events finalized and culminated by going away today. So today was a good day. So
there you go.
I guess by support of my shitty start to the week, the day is wonderful.
I guess you kind of have to hit rock bottom to know where you're standing on.
That is what they say.
That is what they say. If anyone wants to look up those lyrics, and now I feel like it did because now I'm advertising another band on your episode. So,
advertise all the bands. There is way too much room in this world for just one band.
That is very true. Well, it's about you. Be selfish. Yell at me. Call me racial slurs. It's okay. It's perfectly fine.
Nah, man. It's a community thing, right?
True.
You're showing people the community. That's the tagline. You're
promoting our community. Look at you go!
Look at me.
Man, I love you. I don't think
almost like
ever...
I did my research.
It's almost as if you looked into what this brand was before you came on the show tonight.
Right? I wasn't just like, fuck, man, like I got to do this. Okay. Nah, man. I looked it up. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because like I'll have bands. A lot of bands won't like know what we are until like the night of. We'll just say like, "Hey, do you guys want to do a podcast?" It's just like, "Sure." And I think like one or two guests were just expecting like to come into something blind, like they were joining a podcast about scrapbooking or something like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, we can scrapbook.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's scissors in this house, and I'm sure there's things to cut up.
Yeah.
If you want to make this a podcast about scrapbooking, man, I'm in.
You know, maybe one day, like that will be like when we're established and have like a whole TV network and shit like that. We'll be like, okay, now we got like fucking Soupy from the Wonder Years, and we're gonna be scrapbooking our memories.
Man, if you tackled that like man vs. pin type channel, I don't know if you've seen that on YouTube. It's really funny. I watch it all the time. It makes Pinterest interesting.
Man vs. pin.
Yeah, like it's I feel really bad because I don't know that I should be talking about another channel on a channel. It's kind of like channelception, YouTube channelception, yeah. But no, it's really funny. Like I watch a couple YouTube videos. My girlfriend's really big into YouTube, like so I watch some stuff, and that's really funny because Pinterest to me is just the worst. I don't understand it. There's just
it's and not to be sexist, but like it wasn't built for guys. Like it was not meant for us to think about things.
They have exotic car channels, I'm sure, and I'm sure they have channels about cigars. So it's like they're targeting that market, but they're targeting like obviously wealthy people because I can't afford that shit.
True, and
Cigars.
there's like a lot of like DIY should be like, oh, look at this cool like thing that looks very like poor looking. It's like, oh man, I love rustic looking things. Be like,
Yeah.
well, a lot of materials are gonna cost you about like $400. It's like
Yeah, exactly.
this is
I ain't got time for
counterproductive.
that shit.
No one got time. Well, clearly, it's weird because a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Like I'll go and visit my parents every here and there, and every time I go to her house, there's some new like gadget that she made out of like something, and I'm just like, where in fuck's name would you ever like learn how to make this? This is ridiculous. It's like rubber bands, pens, and a coat hanger, and now you can like cook omelets in one step. And she's like,
Your
oh well, I
mom
learned
is
it on
an
Pin.
omelet MacGyver.
She's an omelet MacGyver. Like Pinterest has turned normal people into MacGyver out of nowhere, and it's crazy.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Like my dad's always been a crafty do-it-yourself guy. Like he made his own wallet out of leather that he bought at a leather store, like and
Whoa, that
sewed
sounds
it together.
intense.
And he like his desk and or whatever workbench in the garage is like fucking 4x4s and plywood, and it's like function, no
That is
fashion.
crazy. It
I'm
kind of
like,
that kind of sounds like a Ron Swanson thing.
it's very like fuck it. It just has to stand up and hold shit. Like,
That's all it has to do.
and I
Outside
keep
of
telling
that,
him, I'm like, Dad, you need to start an Etsy for men, like just like a Metsy page, you know, to just
Metsy, and that's another page that's just like men, just kind of like men that confine within that like traditional gender role of just like burly and shit like that. Just missed Etsy. Like
man.
I've recently found it, and like there's so much shit that I could like win so much pussy points with.
There's a bunch of rad shit on that website. Like Canon, our vocalist, gets like all these little Star Wars vinyls and stuff. Like this
Mhm.
one, he actually got this one. I don't know if you can see it, but it's the Ninja Turtles, right?
Oh, nice! It's actually very cool.
Yeah, and I believe he got that on Etsy. So it's like there's people who do like die cut vinyl and stuff on Etsy that's really cool.
Hmm.
It's the shit you find on the internet, man. The fucking internet, man.
The internet. We're all Timmy Turner.
Like
So
I don't
somehow
even know
like
where you
2014
are, but
happened.
yeah, I don't even know where you are, but you're in a room somewhere, and because of the internet, I'm in a room somewhere and we're talking, and other people who in other rooms can also watch. The fucking
That's
internet,
actually
man.
very, very, very funny that you've mentioned that, and I guess we can get into this subject before we get into the interview, because this kind of pertains to music as well.
Okay.
Because of the internet, this particular podcast was able to live, and I never would have thought that I would be talking with a lot of different bands, or even have a website in which I would be able to house different bands, music premieres, reviews, and shit like that. But because of the internet, and a select few people that I've met in the Defend Pop Punk group, I was able to come up with a whole website. And about 2 episodes ago, we were talking with the band about the importance of having a strong internet presence, and whether or
Mhm.
not that's now taking over the need to have a strong touring presence in order to find new fans for your music. So I wanted to get your opinion on that real quick.
Well, my opinion is all of it's great. Like I have my ideal approach to the way I would do things, and I'm sure everyone else in the band has their ideal approach to the way they would do things. And I love the internet. I love the fact that we can post our music for free or charge money for it, and it goes into some magical little like website which we can take it out and then pay for things if we wanted to, or you know, distribute it in so many different mediums to capture like such an audience that would never listen to our music. Um, but at the same time, I really like the grassroots approach. I really like just teaming up with other local bands in the area, which I know everyone does. Obviously, like, you know, bands who are in the same, you know, metropolis, if you will, you know, the same like area kind of get to know each other and play shows, and then they'll go on tours and stuff. So it's kind of like I like the fact that there's options rather than I think the internet made being a band awesome, or I think the old way. I just like the fact that you can kind of do everything or nothing or all of it, you know, or just take one avenue and be a YouTube star. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Justin Bieber because of YouTube, because of the internet, right?
has come on to become a pop icon.
Man, that new record though, I'll pause to talk about Bieber. That record,
Yo, true
it's
insane.
so
Like,
good.
I would have never thought that I would have said, yo, like the hottest album that I listened to this year was Justin Bieber.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran wrote that song, and it's really good. That
Which one?
um, Man, now I don't know the title. Now you
Love
caught me
Yourself?
off guard. Yeah, that one.
Because that sounds like a Sharon song.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Ed Sheeran wrote that song. Like,
That sounds, yeah.
or had a hand in writing it. I'm not some kind of music industry expert by
You're
any
just
means.
you're just like sitting there behind like a cab stack, and you're just like, oh, I can fucking see him writing that song together.
Yeah. Oh my God, that song is so
TMZ
good.
Spy.
Yeah, I
Again,
was.
it's funny because like I think he like looked at his career and said like I've been doing like the same bullshit poppy stuff, and I don't think I've taken the token. I don't think I've taken the right pop avenue just yet to reach all fans.
Yeah. Well, he was a kid, man. He was a child. He was like,
True.
he was that generation's Aaron Carter. Like no, like anybody who was listening to the Backstreet Boys, who they were trying to target with Aaron Carter, didn't like Aaron Carter.
Nah,
Their younger siblings liked Aaron Carter. You know,
exactly.
and so that's what Justin Bieber was. When Justin Bieber came out, I didn't give a shit about what 11-year-old problems he had. But now he's an adult, and he's fucked up, and he's fixed it, and he's fucked up again, and he's fixed it, and now he wrote a fucking great record, and it's
And you
awesome.
know what? And that's very funny that just isn't that funny, but it's interesting that you say that he's now taking actual personal experience and applying it to music, kind of like how the rest of the musicians within our scene will do, and maybe that's why it's a little bit relatable. And also like a lot of the tracks just like are straight fire instrumentally. But I mean like you have the themes of relationships, the theme of being sorry, of hating the person that you don't even like, and like because in that within that whole album you go from like I'm sorry, can we do this all again, and then going to love yourself. It's just like like a new fuck you anthem, and then
Yeah,
like everyone dislikes Bieber, and in the very first track you have this like very oddly distorted singing Bieber just like kind of apologizing in a very stripped down manner, and it's just like, oh, this is wait a second, no it's not, this is kind of
yeah.
good.
It's more real. It's like
It's more real.
it's still like let's be real here. It's a pop record. Like there's a
Oh yeah.
lot that went into it. It's not like grassroots. It's not the same as someone who just gets out there with an acoustic guitar and dumps their summer savings
Yeah,
into
it's no
like
into it
either
over it.
gear or whatever. But it's still really good. And I think people relate to it because
Hmm.
like you said, it's relatable. It's not, like just like 11-year-old Johnny or Jane, could it relate to Justin Bieber like baby,
Hmm.
baby, fuck that,
And I'm like reviewing the lyrics in my head, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure all the songwriters in the world just like stopped and just like said like, why did we write this?
yeah,
Like, I know you want me, you
yeah.
see me there. It's just like, oh fuck, man. Like I
Come
could have
on.
done, I could have done this shit.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like no one's even sorry. No one's even sorry that they like Bieber.
Hell,
Like
everyone's open
five
about
years
it.
ago. Yeah, 5 years ago, people being like, man, I actually kind of like Justin Bieber. It's like they like hush it. Everyone's like,
Mm,
fuck that. I'm rocking a Bieber. It's like what happened to Taylor Swift when 1989 came out.
yeah,
Like everybody
I
blew
guess
up.
because I never got into it, but I do know a lot of friends are just
Yeah.
like, yo, two Swizzle for life. I'm just like,
But
all
you saw
right.
like everybody changing their profile pictures and putting, their
Yeah.
initials in, 1989 and doing that thing. It's like people were proud to like it because it was a more relatable record on that standpoint. But
Yeah.
enough about those rich people.
Enough about those rich people. Let's talk about some poor niggas like ourselves. So, we're going to jump into our interview with Mike of Sunnydale. But before we do that, we're going to give one last try for sponsorships before I shut up for a long while about them. Guys, we're looking. We want your space on our site. In a way, that's good. We're not selling out. This is how your ad read's going to sound, and
It's
you're going to
good
have
for
me
you.
read it.
No, it's good for them. Advertising is money for you. It's so good. Not
All
for
right. Well,
you. Not for
I'm like,
you.
come on, man. I'm trying to sell
No,
this.
no, no, not for you. For the companies. Sorry, I'm trying to
For
help. I'm not helping.
the welcome to Babe Talk, everybody. So yeah, send your emails, ollie@babetalk.tv, and hopefully you will see revenue, and hopefully we'll have offers for our fans at home, and also keep a lookout. We actually do have a contest that's going to be coming out. We're going to be giving away 4 tickets to Warped Tour, but you got to do something for them. What? Yeah, we doing that. By the time Warped Tour is announced, you'll know the contest. So everyone just keep that under your hat. All right, I'm going to shut the fuck up for a long time.
That's what I should have
We're
done.
No, oh no, please. You probably helped us along. It's quite
No, man,
okay.
it's what I do for a job is try and convince people that, you know, like it's basically I talk to companies about helping them increase revenue. So anytime I see a channel, I'm like my brain turns on. I'm like, what?
So you get that marketing brain.
Yeah.
It's a curse. We never
I was
stop
trying to help
thinking about
people,
it.
man. If I owned a company that generated income, I would advertise on Babe Top because I like what you're doing.
Oh, well, I like what you're doing. Let's talk about it.
Hey, all
All
right.
right.
I'm
So
ready when
let's.
you are.
Well, I'm ready and ready, set, go. Um, Sunnydale. Let's just start there, and let's start with the brief history of the band and what you do in said band.
Okay, brief history of the band. So Sunnydale is five friends. It's just people that we've been in bands with together. We started because me and our guitar player Lee have been in a bunch of bands together, and we worked at Guitar Center. And our bass player Brian worked with us, and then our drummer Rylan worked with us. And so Rylan was in a band from like locally called Joe Grizzly, kind of like pop punk hardcore. Um, Brian had just moved down. We knew him through Guitar Center, and Lee and I have been friends for coming up on maybe a decade and a half.
Hmm.
And we played in bands together around the area. And so we were all just kind of like itching to play music again. And so Lee and I started kind of messing around with writing some stuff. And the biggest thing was we didn't have a drummer, so we met Rylan. That worked together perfectly. And we had another singer. We used to be called Home Safe, actually.
Hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with, Home Safe, Ryan from Knuckle Puck's side project.
I'm sorry, I can't say I know that.
Yeah, it's a separate band. They
Hmm.
they have the name. We didn't realize that they had the name, or there was just some confusion on that level. So we changed our name when we got our singer Cannon. Uh, he was also another long local band friend of Lee and I's. And we just started writing music and kind of hang out. Cannon runs a studio locally, so we get to hang out and practice and kind of like record our ideas and stuff. And it's just, I don't know, we were just like, this gives us another reason to hang out and also write music that we've wanted to write for a long time, and kind of take all of our experiences since our past bands and really kind of, maybe do things differently, but at the same time, try and grow by
Hmm.
playing pop punk.
Well,
I said brief, I
so
lied.
oh no, that's great. That's perfect because it gives a rundown. So and you play in a band.
Oh yes, sorry. I play guitar and I do some vocals in the band. Like I kind of do like backing vocals. So
Nice. How'd you get started with music to begin with?
me at all? Okay. My dad
Hmm.
played guitar um, when I was little, and so there was always a guitar in the house. And one day, like after all the times, my dad being like, "Oh, you should play guitar. Like I can show you some things." I was like 9, and I was like, "I don't want to do this." And then one day, I was like probably 10, and I just picked it up, and a dude that I skateboarded with's older brother showed me how to play "Smells Like Teen Spirit." And
Yes.
I mean, every other 90s kids, I learned how to play Guitar Story, I guess. But I just kept going with it and kind of tried to figure it out on my own. And I did, kind
Yeah.
of. Still
Well,
learning.
fairly well. I mean, like
Yeah. I mean,
you're kind
let's
of
be honest. Like, I can write music. That's, like, I'm not trying to be that, but I'm definitely I learn something new every time I pick it up, every time I try and think about it differently. And so that was really cool. And that was something, I just kind of started messing around, jamming with some friends, writing really silly music.
Mhm.
And cut to 20 years later, here I am.
Now, how did you end up like finding other like-minded kids at? Because you keep saying that like you just kept jamming with kids. Where were these kids? Because I also know a lot of different areas in which kids are just like music just wasn't around for me.
All right. So keep in mind, this is like late 90s when I started jamming with kids. So it was like a lot of high school. Like there wasn't the internet to preoccupy people. There wasn't a lot of that stuff going on. Like obviously the internet was there, but it wasn't in there in the capacity. There was no Facebook or any of that. And so
Hmm.
like it was just kids I went to middle school with, kids that I hung out with in the cafeteria because we were sectioned off at our table, and we'd play Pokemon and grind on curbs with our soaps. and just like, yeah. And
That's so good.
I know, right? I can't believe they don't still make those. I completely understand why they don't still make
I
them.
was gonna say there's probably like a good legal issue
Yeah,
as to why they
yeah.
don't do
Some
that
kid
anymore.
took out 11 fifth graders grinding down a handrail at JW Middle School or whatever. Yeah, it's like Heelys. Those are annoying though.
Hmm.
But yeah, like it was just kids I went to school with, kids I skateboarded with, kids I rode the bus with, and we just go in whoever's garage and kind of find whoever we could jam with. And one thing is one of my friends, Trey, that I grew up with from about that same age, got a drum kit around the same time as I kind of started playing guitar. And so he and I had been in tons of bands together and written countless songs over the course of years. And that really helped, having someone who kind of started with you. But yeah, it's definitely hard. Like when we started Sunnydale, I can't tell you, it was like a 5-year process for me personally. Like I was like, man, I want to play music again, but I actually want to play music. I don't want to just like, have a beer and jam with one dude and get nothing accomplished. So working somewhere where other people who are like-minded musicians definitely helped. Pop punk's not super huge in this area anymore. It definitely was, especially like, middle 2000s, early middle 2000s, to a couple years
Okay.
back.
So we're talking like louder now, like kind of days.
Yeah, like I mean, like Cartel was really big when pop punk was really
Okay.
big here. It's because they definitely came through. We had a venue here called the Brewery. It was kind of like the local, like pop punk bands kind of were able to play wherever because it was very popular in this area. But the Brewery was really like the home base for pop punk and hardcore and anything like alternative, anything that you would consider alternative now kind of got its start in the Brewery around here locally. And it got torn down a couple years back, and that really sucked,
Oh man.
So yeah, it sucked. And since then it feels like, that kind of music it's been harder for it to survive. So as you're saying, like a lot of people saying it's hard to find people to jam with, I definitely face that, and it's definitely a struggle. I've definitely posted a gazillion Craigslist ads trying to find bands to no avail. But yeah, I don't know. It's always a struggle. The internet makes it easier and harder at the same time. There's more options, so there's less options.
Yeah. Because like people get distracted and they're just like, oh, like back in MySpace heyday, kids
Yeah,
just used to like just like sit online and wait for comments.
yeah, exactly. Oh my God, I remember MySpace.
Yeah.
I remember having a robot to add friends so that we didn't have to have friends. That's how I met my girlfriend. I met my girlfriend by robot adding friends for my band on Facebook 8 years
How
ago.
how long ago into the relationship did you wait to tell her that story?
Oh no, she knew. She knew 100%. I basically put an ad out for like a bot ad out to find girls within a 50-mile radius just to bring more females to our shows. Like no
Oh,
specific,
okay.
no Tinder intentions. But
Just like so you had the
man,
band first.
we had a lot of dudes at our shows because they were all our friends, and
Yeah.
all our friends were really bad at talking to girls, so we just didn't have girls at our shows. And so this was my solution, and she was like, politely responded. She was new to the area. She's like, "Oh, your music's good." She's a good liar. Um,
Oh, you're in a band.
yeah, exactly. That's probably more of what it was. And I added her and was like, "Thanks, Mike." And there we go. Fast forward.
And then it's been in love and oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
So she knew right. Like I'm pretty sure our first date, I picked her up in the band van I was driving, which was probably sketchy. And I told her, I was like, somewhere in the date, I was like, yeah, like I was just adding a bunch of girls, and you liked us, and I liked you. So
Oh man, you're doing this so well. You came up in a big ass van and just said, yeah, it was just like trying to net in all the women that I could.
yeah. Hey, honesty. What builds a
Honesty
good
is the best
relationship.
policy, and then like look at it now.
Yeah, exactly. See,
So
testament.
there you go. It's fantastic. Um, so now let's fast forward into the formation of the band. You guys you talked about having the exchange of hands, exchanging of different members throughout the band. When did it start to solidify?
Well, this has actually been the original lineup of Sunnydale.
Oh, okay.
So, like I said, we were home safe, and we had our vocalist who just wanted to be in a band, and then kind of started doing more work and stuff and realized they just didn't have the time for it, and it was cool. And that's right around when we had to change our name. And then so we asked our friend Cannon, who we had approached originally about it in the first place, but he didn't. He had prior obligations to where he couldn't join, and so it really just lined up the way it should have. But other than that, we've been the original lineup. It took a long time to find members, but as far as like, we've been Sunnydale since we've been Sunnydale. There's been no member changes or
Okay,
fluctuations
so I
or
missed it.
anything.
Okay, that's my for misinterpreting.
Yeah, no
Um,
worries.
so you guys have always had the original lineup, which is awesome. So now we can go into when you guys decided to get serious. Because like you're saying, you were now in the business of finding more like-minded individuals that want to pursue music, and you guys
Yeah.
had that. When did you guys start recording, and when did you guys start putting notes to the grind?
I mean, we kind of started recording like immediately. Cannon, our vocalist, has been a recording engineer for a long time, and he's worked with a lot of local bands, in our area, like of all different genres. And so he's got a studio where we practice. So pretty much it's like we had written songs as Home Safe, and we just kind of showed Cannon them as a blank canvas and allowed him to kind of do what he could to songs, because like the first 4 songs on our first EP, it's called Reboot Again, and it's for free
Yeah.
on Bandcamp. So it's up there. Those first 4 songs we wrote musically before we were Sunnydale, and Cannon took what he did and basically added his lyrics, and then we kind of did what we did to make them those songs. But we recorded those pretty much right off the bat because we already had them and we had a studio, and there wasn't like a ramp up time of like, oh, we got to save up and we got to do this. It was kind of like, when do you have a weekend free, And so we went in and knocked those out and just kind of started practicing, and we played our first show like a month later, and we've just been trying to book shows and trying to find new bands to play with from here and from everywhere. And so that's we've kind of in that sense we've been serious since we started. As soon as we were like, all right, we're writing music, we just started writing it and doing it. So
Nice. With I keep having questions to go through my head. Let's
no,
go
no
with
worries.
the influences. Does the band kind of click with all their own playing styles, or do you guys
Yeah.
find yourselves like confining to the safe pop punk?
So a little column A, a little column B.
Hmm.
Our first EP is definitely, it's kind of all one speed, if you will. There's not a lot of variety in the song from track to track. They're all kind of like upbeat, pop punk. They're riffy. We try to not just do
Yeah.
the chord strumming. We toe the line of like playing like a little bit more riffs. Not so much on that as we do with newer songs, but
Hmm.
I wouldn't, like we definitely click influence wise, like we have a lot where we're a Venn diagram, like 5 circles. And in the middle there's definitely influences that overlap. But other than that, we kind of span everything. Like, Cannon's really big into like vocal heavy bands, but he likes, Mayday Parade and Blink-182. Um, now I'm blanking, but like he's definitely into the older pop punk, more 90s kind of pop punk and, early 2000s, middle 2000s. And Lee likes kind of everything, he likes a lot of hip hop, like top 40 hip hop. He listens to a lot of that on the radio. But,
True.
he's got his influences. Like he's a big fan of like 90s alt rock bands too, like Lit and Butch Walker, stuff like that, as well as like the Starting Line in early November. Rylan listens to a bunch of hardcore as well as pop punk. Brian listens to a bunch of
Hmm.
like, kind of like, I guess, the wonder years of pop punk as far as like, Starting Line and Newfound Glory, Yellow Card. And I'm kind of just all over the place. Like Newfound Glory, Hit the Lights. I definitely like more riffs in my pop punk. I listen to easycore as well and indie and all kinds of silliness. But so we definitely have like a wide gap because it's not like those are just kind of, I guess, the genres that relate to our band. But other than that, I mean, we all have our ideas and they kind of meld together to make one sound, I guess.
Hmm. Nice. And how would you say from your recording of or the style of Reboot Now? pans over to this new EP that you guys are actually going to be
This
releasing.
new
Which I
EP.
this new EP. Hey guys, you're here to hear first ish kind of. There's a new
Yeah.
EP coming.
We've let people know. I mean, we've definitely talked about having an EP recorded, but this is the first time I'm going to tell people the date in person.
All right, well, sir, take it away.
Okay, so yeah, we've got a new EP. It's 2 songs, so it's like a half EP, but we're going to consider it an EP.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a taste of what's to come. There are 2 songs that we had, like, or one song that we had written like right after we had recorded Reboot Again, and then one song that we wrote when we actually wrote it right before we played the Take It Easy Fest in Charlotte, North Carolina last year, with a bunch of really great bands who are, you know, involved with the Revive Easycore groups and the Defend Pop Punks and whatnot. So we played with, you know, we played there for the first time. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of like, you know, the newer old song meets the oldest new song, I guess. And so it's 2 songs. I definitely feel like we're more mature the way we've written those, because we wrote them as all 5 of us, as opposed to the music being written by us and then Cannon doing the vocals. So they meld together better. I think we've taken a little bit more dynamic approach to writing it. So we've definitely grown as a band as far as how we attack things. We know what we do, and, you know, we're not like kidding ourselves and, you know, saying like, oh man, I'm the most revolutionary this or that, you know, like we're not trying to break
You're
barriers.
that Kanye West.
Yeah, no. Well, we're not trying to break barriers. We know what we do, and we just try to do that in a way that's uniquely us, I guess.
Nice. Okay. So now you're looking at yourselves. You guys are saying that you're having more success within this band, within this brand in itself. What would you say would be what you've done differently from other bands that you're now seeing a stronger success in this band?
So I guess I can answer half of that question. So we've definitely seen, like, what we do differently is maybe good, maybe bad. We definitely have a carefree approach to what we do. You know, like we're not in it to make money. You know, we're not in it to be cool, you know, like, because we do it for us. We actually, you know, everyone does it for them, obviously, but we're just as happy, you know, kind of hanging out, you know, as we are playing a show. And so, you know, we definitely approach it that way. So it's like, we don't get bummed. We don't get ramped up. We don't, like, you know, force deadlines to try and make sure that a label is going to whatever. We just figure if we write good music, it'll happen if it happens. And I know a lot of bands have that approach, but that's something that I guess that's really the only thing we've tried to do with our approach to the band, you know, as opposed to being like, you know, like, okay, if we don't have a new record out this time, you know, blah, 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 blah. We just kind of are like, we're going to do this. And when it lines up, it lines up. And it's kind of the beauty of being able to record too, is, you know, you don't have to like plan 2 weeks and then it has to be done in that 2 weeks. It's kind of, you just do whatever. So it makes it kind of flexible, which keeps it fun, and fun is good.
Fun is fun. Now,
Fun
is
is
this
fun
what
with our friends?
is this what with our friends? F is for fun. No, and F is for friends. You do stuff together.
Yeah,
U
man,
is for you and me.
that Take It Easy core song by Jared Alonge is one of the funniest things I've heard in a long time. That dude is rad.
He's very cool. We've had an interview with him so long ago.
Oh,
And
really? That's awesome.
He's fucking funny. No,
Yeah.
the podcast. One of our old member. No, I think it was James Boss that interviewed him way, way, way long ago. It was dope. But yeah, Jared, he's doing some funny shit. He did the
YouTube,
vocals.
man.
Yeah, it's a beautiful market.
The goddamn internet.
Yeah. So Take It Easy Fest. Let's talk about that for a second, because was that one of your first festivals that you guys have played?
That is the first and only festival that we've played. Like
How?
we're still just trying to gain traction and get better shows right now. You know what I mean? So it's like we were really, really happy and stoked to not only be able to play Take It Easy Fest, the first one ever, with tons of bands who drove. Like we were lucky because it was in our home state too, because like it just made it line up well. But so many people drove from all over the country, not only to come to it, but to play it. And I thought that was really rad. So that was cool. It was good it felt really great to be able to play the first one, as well as to be invited back to the second one. So that'll be awesome. There we go.
How was your experience there with the general public at
I mean,
taking
it
a
was
seat?
awesome. Like everyone was super nice. Like I don't think we met one person that kind of had a stuck up attitude. It was really cool. Like everyone was really receptive because all the bands, while still being able to call themselves easycore, had their own unique sound, and everyone was really receptive of all the different bands, and so that was awesome. It was really good to be able to see them, and just see these bands face to face and kind of in person that you interact with on the internet. It was just pretty cool to be able to bring that all together. And Josh and Major Key Booking and all the people involved. I feel bad I can't name all of them because I honestly don't know a whole lot because I wasn't involved with it except for we played. But everyone that worked really, really hard to put that together did such an awesome job. And it was really cool because the venue that it was at, Tremont Music Hall, actually just shut down. And so it was really
Oh
cool
man.
that got to be one of the last shows, like in its, time span, like of course of, X amount of months. So.
So now you guys are moving on to. Nope, that's not what I wanted to say. I have this bullshit like journalistic voice in my head. It's just like, so you guys want to? So I'm trying to be professional at the same time.
Hey man,
Um,
you're killing it. I wouldn't be able to do what you do. I wouldn't be able to have any structure.
Same. So you were talking about being carefree and
Yeah.
not really have confining to goal not goals but deadlines and like keeping it real fluid. What do you guys set goals for yourselves to meet so that you'll be able to progress as a band, or are you guys still just going off the we do what we do well and we'll see where it takes us?
I mean, we definitely set goals for ourselves. Like we know, so we're releasing this EP. We originally planned to release it in the fall, which we felt would have kept a little bit more momentum, but we kind of like took a little bit, longer in the process of recording it, and which delayed mixing and mastering, and then the holidays. So we
Mhm.
kind of like we got it back when we got it back, and it just didn't feel like the right time to release it. Um, so we decided we'd wait and kind of pick a release date and kind of like sleep on it for a little bit. And so after that, we definitely set goals for ourselves. Like we know we're writing new music right now, um, and after that, we're going to try and start recording a new EP in the spring, and try and shoot. I mean, I can't say a tentative release date for it, but we're going to start working on production and tracking it again in spring, which will be cool. So we definitely set goals to keep pace, you know, um, but in those goals, it's not like we've got the one person that's like, if we don't have this EP recorded by this day, everything's going to go to shit. I'm just kind of like, this is what we want to do, so we'll just do whatever we can to make that happen. And if a week or two passes, YOLO. I said YOLO.
YOLO 2016. We're still saying YOLO. Heard it
Amen.
here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Hashtag YOLO.
YOLO. Hashtag YOLO. What's good? So, what about the shows that you guys play? I remember you saying that the local scene had kind of not passed by the wayside, but it definitely died down as far as pop punk goes. How is your local reception right now?
Our local reception's like pretty good. I mean, we definitely have some really good fans who do their 100% to make it out to every show, and that's really cool. There's a band we play with called the O Whales that's like one of really good friends of ours, and so we play with them as much as we can. We've got a bunch of other good friends. Like we're playing with some of our good friends called Magnolia, which are more of like an indie kind of funk, kind of like I I want to say I'm bad at doing this, but I want to say they're like Saves the Day meets the Hotelier. Um,
Ooh.
so they've got a really good vibe. They're really talented musicians, and so we're playing with them tomorrow. Actually, this will be our first time playing with them, but we've played with bands that they've also been in. So it's really cool. Like on one hand, yes, pop punk is not as popular as it was a couple years back, but it affords you the ability to play with bands you wouldn't have necessarily played with, like more indie bands or rock bands or hardcore bands or metal bands. And there's a lot of really, really talented musicians around here that we've been able to share the stage with. So it's kind of a blessing and a curse. If you always kind of
Yeah.
hope people who come out to see this, progressive kind of hardcore band is going to dig what you're doing. And we've actually had some pretty good reception from shows we didn't necessarily think were going to be the best fit for us musically.
Hmm. So like you guys like end up seeing like small surprises every here and there, but at least you guys like still have a platform in which you can sound off on.
Don't get me wrong, we still definitely play shows for the bands that are there. Like that's it. Like where it's us
Ah.
and the two other bands that are playing. That happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we're packing out the house by any means, but
Mm-hmm.
it's every time we get to play a show, and that's kind of comes back to the being carefree. It's like we don't get down on ourselves if no one made it out because it was a Thursday night. We don't get mad if no one made it out, because it snowed. We played a show, the whole city was shut down because of snow, and it was
Mm-hmm.
us and this band called Variants from Louisiana that they were already on the road, so they just came through. First time they ever saw snow, no one was there. These like
Oh man.
college kids were like getting drunk at the bar next door, so we got them to come over for like a couple minutes, and then they went back to another bar or something. So it's like those shows are still almost in a way just as fun as shows that have a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm. So how would you say the state of your scene is right now as far as the music culture goes?
Uh, what do you mean?
So you'll have areas in which you'll have kids going out to every show because, like you said, you guys are still having shows. And I'm not just talking pop punk. I'm talking about like DIY shows in general. If you guys have basic shows going on every weekend, the kids are always going out to shows, or it's just like you guys are playing to the same kids that are there in bands and XYZ.
It's a mixed bag. I think it kind of depends on the. It's almost like the stars have aligned with what bands are able to play the show. There's definitely good combinations of bands that have, because it comes down to, like where you're playing. Like we draw well in certain cities, whereas we have no draw in other cities because we either A, never played there before, or B, it's just not, but so it's kind of like there are definitely bands that draw huge crowds. So people here still like live music. Like Durham is a really cool place as far as like there's a really cool culture as far as, kind of, I guess, how times are changing here. So live music is definitely making a push. It's just a matter of
Hmm.
finding out the combinations of the bands. So some shows we play where there's a lot of people who just wanted to go see music that night, whereas other shows we play where people are coming out to see a specific band, whereas other shows we play where people would rather Netflix and chill.
Rather just Netflix
This is
and
how it
chill.
goes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, we touched earlier about you having a marketing bone in you. How would you say you guys market well online? And what are some of the things that you do to make sure that you keep the buzz going for your brand?
Um,
Putting you
so
right on
I
the
mean,
spot.
we definitely are down on like, we try, it's hard. Like we all have, full-time jobs or school, and
Hmm.
and we have X amount of time that we allot to be able to do what we want to do. Definitely hard to do some of the marketing. I'm bad at the internet. um, so we try, we'll kind of all talk about ideas like, oh, what should we do? I think we're better on Instagram than anything else. We've kind of taken a break from Instagram just because, we've had, like I said, the holidays, and we kind of just like took some time to like, kind of write some music and hang out. So we don't have as much going on now, but I think we're better on like Instagram and Twitter than we are on anything else. But I mean, we definitely try and promote, and the various groups, like you mentioned, the Defend Pop Punk group and stuff. I'm a member of that as well as a couple other members in the band, and we definitely will talk about things and try and jump in on topics. And I feel like that helps you stay relevant, but it's hard. Like, I mean, if you've got tips and pointers, you've obviously made the internet your bitch. So like, holler at your boy and let me know what to do.
Well, I was gonna mention that at least you know how to where your strengths are. Because I
Yeah,
mean, like I can't go on the record to say that I'm bad at the internet because that's my actual salaried job. So for the
yeah,
record, if my boss is watching, I'm the best internet person that's ever existed. But I mean, like
yeah.
when you have a brand and you're able to go through and you're able to look to see what you have to do, you have to find out where your strengths are. So at least you found out where your strengths are, which is Instagram and Twitter, and you've been able to milk that. I mean, we all know
I mean,
that Facebook is,
we kind of
yeah.
we kind of just figured like, we're nerds. Like we're all very nerdy. I don't know if you've, like if you recall, or if you've seen the album cover for our EP Reboot Again, it's all nerd shit that like either we or more properly our vocalist Cannon owns, that's in the recording studio. So we just placed it everywhere and
You're
took
right.
pictures of it, you know.
Now,
But
see,
that's not.
I've been looking at this for like the past like few days, and I didn't
Yeah,
even realize because I thought it was because in my ignorant mind, I saw the deck decked in the balls,
yeah,
and then I still see that it's kind of red, and I'm like, oh, okay, so that's still like presents. Didn't realize you
yeah.
have the Triforce in the background. You have X-Men right back there,
Yeah, like all that
Star
shit stuff that
Wars.
Canon owns, or like some of the stuff belongs to. I feel like some of the stuff belongs to some of the other people in the band too. But
Hmm.
like that's all readily available at Canon Studio to just like check out. So we were just like, fuck, man, this is the shit we grew up on. This is what we do. So um, I don't remember why I was talking about nerd shit. Oh yeah, that's so with the Twitter and Instagram, so we just try and hop
Hmm.
on and like hashtag like, like nerdy shit. Like we have a podcast ourselves actually called Sunnydale versus Sunnydale, where we watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer and don't talk about it at all, unfortunately. It's just kind of like it's on and we'll kind of address that we're watching it, but then we just go off on tangents. And so, we do
Huh. Well,
that
there you
to
go.
try and, kind of like tie us into like the nerd culture that we've been born and bred by.
That's another way that you are able to become not become stay relevant is you have
Yeah, I mean
something else
that's
to complement your music.
exactly, and it's relevant to the band and it's relevant to other things. Like our name, for context, I guess, if you're not a Buffy fan, so our name Sunnydale is the town that Buffy the Vampire Slayer takes place in.
Ah, okay.
So hence the Sunnydale versus Sunnydale. When the
Hmm.
idea was pitched to me, I thought we were going to be epics. Like I was like, I'm in. Like, and then I found out what it was, and I was like, this is much better than my imaginings.
Well, let's jump right into some new tunes. We advertised that we were gonna stream a new song, and by George, that's what the fuck we gonna do.
That's what the
So
fuck we gonna do.
that's what the fuck we gonna do. If you wish to give your grand premiere intro on the Babe Talk podcast, you will give a description as to what it is, and we will play it right for you, right for everyone, right for the world.
Cool. Right for everyone. This is a new
Everyone.
song, our upcoming release that we'll call an EP. Song, uh, I don't know. Listen to the lyrics. Like it's good. Like it's definitely it's a riffier song. This whole EP was actually mixed and mastered by Eric and Bert from Chunk No Captain Chunk at their studio Alias Studios in France. And so that's pretty cool. It was one of the first things that we've actually sent out to have any work done, because we typically have done it ourselves. And so we were really happy to have the opportunity to send it out and work with those guys, because they're super rad. And I think they did a fucking awesome job. But yeah, it's a song. It's riffy and it's fun and it's upbeat. I feel like it's a good representation of what we're trying to do with our music. It's definitely also though a contrast to the other song. So when the album releases on the 29th, Leap Day of this month, you can check it out and kind of compare them and see which one you like better, if you don't like both of them, I guess.
All right, here we go. So long. All right, so I don't want to say blown away because I don't want to have anything come off in the negative context as of what I've been listening to from reboot again because that's what I've mainly been listening to. But I mean, like, it's a stark night and day difference as to like where you guys are going. Um,
Yeah,
you
it's like
yeah yeah
I don't know. It's like I said. I think a lot of it attributes the fact that we wrote that song with all five of us. All five of our heads were put together with that song, and I think that's a good representation of what happens when we do that.
yeah, and I can just feel as if like there's been a lack of and I don't want to say maybe I've just been missing out on some solid a little bit because it's taken off easy, definitely 100%. It's going back to a little bit of the pop punk. We're having like those powerful like dog pile anthems like "Come Back to Me" when you shits together
Yeah,
like that whole like I love that block right there like and this might be the old pop punk kid in me, but I mean like I could see like on the back of shirts and varsity lettering with a black and white background taken by like I don't know wasp photography that says like come back to me when you realize when you understand don't come back to me at all, I believe
yeah,
it like
yeah. We
that
were
and
thinking
that
about making a shirt that said "Ripped Out Hard Times."
yeah dude like this is solid and I'm now like
Thank you.
really excited because I enjoyed what I heard of course and that's why I would have you guys on the show but hearing this I'm itching. I'm definitely itching, and I think everyone's gonna be itching to hear what you guys are gonna have for the remainder of the year and whatever you guys put out next. So, this shit's awesome.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
really excited. You
absolutely.
know, we're all very happy with these songs, and like I said, the guys at Alias Studio did a great job. Cannon and the guys at Last Chance Studio, like our singer, did a great job tracking it and making sure that we had the right tones dialed in and the right performances to send to those guys. So it was a good team effort. It was fun. It was a good time. These guys are super
Good time.
nice
Good
too.
time. That's good when you got nice people
So
working alongside of you.
yeah.
Everything's good.
So I'll send you
So,
that other song. I'll send you a link to
yes,
that other
please.
song so you can check it
Oh
out.
man. Oh,
See your
perks of
boyfriend.
being a yeah,
Yeah,
suck it, everyone.
perks.
I can hear
Yeah,
before perks work. So, is there anything else that you want to
yeah.
tell
No,
people before we end the show?
just thanks for tuning in, and thank you for having me on, Oliver.
Yeah,
And
yeah, of course, yeah.
well, yeah, I never addressed this. Like, I know, like once in a while, it's Oliver or Ollie. Which one?
Well, I'll always respond. However, I go by Ali. So,
Okay,
but
Ollie.
call me
Then there we go. I just
just call me
never,
everything but boy. And like even if you call boy, I'll still like turn around and be like yes. So,
Hey, boy.
hey boy. So I mean,
But
like, are we gonna look at more shows? Are we gonna be looking at
yeah.
any music videos?
So we've definitely been talking to a couple people about doing a video for one, maybe both of the songs that we're going to release. Not really a timeline on that yet. I think we've talked to people about lyric videos and stuff too. Um, so I'm not 100% sure if we have anything with that, but it's definitely something that we're going to work on, and just kind of keep an ear out. Everything we've recorded to this point is available at sunnydale.nc.bandcamp.com. You can check out all of it. It's all for name your price download. So download for free all you want. We've got our Christmas song up there still. I'm actually going to take the Christmas song down when we release this EP. So, and it's called Decked in the Balls. It's a little something we threw together for Christmas. But yeah, all our stuff's up there. And this song, as well as the other one, will be up on February 29th, which is Leap Day. I thought it was kind of funny because it only happens 4 times a year. Um, of course it does.
Incredible. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So just, thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Ali, for having me on as a representative, and, check us out.
Absolutely.
We're on Facebook.
I'm
Yeah. Oh, you're very what?
yeah, like, happy and thankful, and I'm very happy that you guys are also forgiveful because we also tried this a little while ago, and my
Yeah.
name's Ali, and things fall through.
Yeah.
So
Hey, man.
professional, guys, what's going on?
that's the way to live, you know, because then you can say you're professional, but you don't have to feel like it.
It's true. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's what we have going on. If you guys have any news, seriously, just let me know, and we'll be pushing this EP out when it comes out. We will let people know. If you have music videos, let me know. Anything,
Awesome.
let a homie know. You now have a family friend, and Babe Talk is a family, and we now love our new family member, Mike from Sunnydale. Let's give
What
it up.
up?
If you home, clap it up, clap it up.
But yeah, and just yeah, thanks for having us on, man. It was fun. I had a good time. So
I'm glad you had a good time.
no worries.
Um, Everyone, check in next week. We're gonna be having. I'm 99% sure that we're gonna have Keanu of Cherry Pit Music, one of my good friends that is doing awesome things with his magazine in the South Jersey area and digitally. He will be coming on the show to discuss his shit, his shit. There, I was trivializing what he does. His his magazine, his photography, and also his involvement within the local music scene. And also on Thursday, Matty Carlock will be doing his acoustic stuff on the show. And this is the first time that I've also given a future schedule. Mike, this is
Hey,
a
man.
great night of firsts.
It sounds like professionally professional to me, Ollie.
Oh, I'm ending this show on a high note. I love you so much. Guys, I'll see you next week. Good night.